Welcome back. All right, news of the day video for all you fine people on the internet. It is Friday. It is October the 24th. We'll go ahead. We'll start at the top of the board. This is normally how these things work. Vegas hasn't officially announced this yet that I've seen, but Carter Hart is reportedly signing or has signed a 2-year deal with the Vegas Golden Knights. The cap hit on that contract being $2 million. So Carter Hart would likely be called up. You then have him and Schmidt as the goaltending tandem until Aiden Hill's good to return. So we'll see how quickly Carter Hart ramps up and is with the Vegas Golden Knights, but probably not very long once this contract's been officially announced. Jacob Markstrom, who's been out for a while for the New Jersey Devils, not that it's hurt them in their results, he is to join the team at practice tomorrow. So Nico Daws has played well while he's been out. Jake Allen's played well while he's been out, and so it definitely takes some of the pressure off for Markstrom. He can come back when he's ready. Doesn't have to feel rushed at all. Nick Leddy dealing with an upper body injury. He will not play for the rest of San Jose's road trip. Klingberg is not playing tonight. The hope is that he'll be good to return for the San Jose Sharks early next week. So that's the hope. We'll see how it all turns out. But yeah, a lot of injury issues on that blue line. Mahatmadulin not playing on this road trip either for San Jose. Scott Saverin sent back down to the AHL by Tampa. I found this interesting. So what they're doing is they call him up. They play a game. That means it counts towards his suspension. Then they send him back down. He plays in the AHL. He has now served 3 of the 4 games of his suspension already. Once he's served all 4, it'll be interesting to see if they keep him up and play him or if they send him back to the AHL. But he does have 3 of those 4 games served now. The New York Islanders. So we knew something was going to have to happen with the All-Star celebration. They were supposed to get some sort of festivities before the Olympics. Instead of getting that, they're going to host the 2027 All-Star Weekend. It will be very interesting to see what the National Hockey League comes up with for that All-Star Weekend, because since Four Nations took place, I don't think people are going to be very happy if they go back to the old format. But I don't know how much players are going to be interested in playing like a really tough tournament every year, especially considering some of the injuries that came out of that one that we had last February. So we'll see what the All-Star Weekend ends up looking like, but it is what it is. I think it kind of has to be an exhibition. It kind of has to be a casual, fun experience. But we'll see. The New York Islanders, UBS Arena, will be hosting in 2027. So after last night's loss by Montreal, the Habs were not happy, and they were not quiet about how unhappy they were. The NHL can fine the Montreal Canadiens. They can fine coaches, players. Nothing yet, and I don't know that the NHL necessarily does either. But after you're not happy about the officiating and you mention that to the press, you can get fined. So they called out the officials, and apparently a referee came over to the players or to the bench and admitted that one of the calls in the third period of last night's game was a mistake. That's what I read in the article. I went through that article 3 different times just to make sure before I put it on the board. And one of those situations, right? And it is a shame that referees can't just rescind a penalty call, that they can't review a penalty call if they're not necessarily 100% sure if what they saw was a trip or a slash or a hook. Just go back and look at it. And then there was the misconduct on Josh Anderson, which I thought would have been a 10, only because then it wouldn't have affected the outcome. There wouldn't have been a man advantage out of it. We've seen in numerous games over the last few years how referees will hand out 10-minute misconducts. And those 10-minute misconducts are usually just a matter of keeping the temperature down in the game. So if that's what a referee's trying to do, then you give Josh 10 minutes. Now, what Josh did, there's a debate on what he did or what he didn't. Now, what I had heard was that he tapped his stick towards the official, but sort of like a, good job mockingly. But what they're saying now is that he was either for shooting the puck down the ice after the goal or for yapping at the official about the call on Matheson. So either way, I think a 10-minute makes a lot more sense. Not that I'm saying that it necessarily warrants 10, but then you don't have to worry about it being a 5-on-4 man advantage for Edmonton. So Montreal didn't feel like they got defeated last night by Edmonton. They felt like the officiating played a role in that. And that was said both by players as well as by Marty St. Louis. Maybe not directly, not as directly as some other instances where people have been fined, but we'll see if the NHL says anything about that today or tomorrow or not. Sheldon Rempel has cleared waivers today for Washington, so what this allows them to do is terminate his contract. He wants to play overseas, so you got to put him on unconditional waivers. When nobody claims him, then you can buy out their contract. So that's what's happened, or buyout's the wrong way of putting it, terminate the contract. So both the player and the team agreeing to mutually abolish the contract, and so with that gone, he's able to sign and play, whether it's in the German league, Swiss league, wherever he ends up going. All the best to Rempel. Brendan Othmann has been recalled by the New York Rangers, and his name is in a lot of trade rumors right now. I don't really get into the trade rumors because they're just rumors, and I don't feel like a bunch of videos talking about a bunch of rumors necessarily work for me. I just don't do it. But Othmann, I think, has been recalled because Rempe, with an upper body injury last night, did not finish that game against San Jose. So with Othmann recalled, it will give scouts a chance to see Othmann. Scouts of teams that might be interested in Brendan Othmann's services, and it might give the Rangers a chance to build up his value a little bit for any potential trade. So we'll see what happens there. So the reason I'm wearing a Canucks jersey, I mean, first off, I'm going to the Abbotsford game tonight. I don't think I'm wearing this Canucks jersey for that. But local accounts pointing out there's a lot of tickets available for that game tomorrow night against Montreal, which is virtually unheard of. When Montreal comes to town, those tickets sell fast. I remember there was one year I wanted to go to the Montreal-Vancouver game. Yeah, tickets were gone. So looking at the ticket prices, and I went straight through Ticketmaster on my phone. These are in Canadian dollars, of course. The cheapest ticket for the Montreal game tomorrow night is $183. That's in the nosebleeds way up in the back. The cheapest tickets for Edmonton the next day, $134. The center ice tickets, $337. I avoided resale tickets, so I stayed away from resale tickets. $97 is the cheapest for the game against the Rangers on Tuesday. It's $261 for center ice, and if you want a ticket at center ice for the game against Montreal, it's $429 is what I saw, and I went with just the tickets for behind the team benches. I wanted to compare the same tickets across, so this is probably why there's seats that are available, because the Canucks aren't playing great. They're coming off of a season where they missed the playoffs, and the ticket prices are really, really high. So this is why I'm only going to one game myself this year. I didn't go to any games at all last season, and I do wonder if we're going to start seeing some empty seats in Vancouver if they continue to struggle, which I don't see any reason why they wouldn't necessarily. I hope they don't continue to struggle, but it does feel like with injuries and with some of the numbers that we're seeing from guys early in the season who are being counted on to provide a little bit more, it could be quite the season in Vancouver in terms of just feeling a little bit longer than we'd like it to. But yeah, so I wanted to talk about that today, so there we are. The numerous pauses are so that you guys don't hear my coughing, sniffling, and everything, because I'm still dealing with a cold. Today it's decided to go with all of the symptoms at once, which I think is a nice way to change it up. All right, Joseph Woll. So for Leafs fans, good news. He is returning to the team. So he's been on a personal absence from the team. He's returning to the team now. We still don't know, that I've seen, what that absence was necessarily entailing, but hopefully Woll's coming back, ready to play and play well for the Toronto Maple Leafs, who need that. They're 3-3-1 so far this season, and while the goaltending hasn't been the problem, they definitely could handle having Woll back there and just having Stolarz and Woll as the tandem. Pierre LeBrun's reporting that teams are still calling about Chinakhov. Apparently, Chinakhov switched agents last month, and he still wants a trade out of Columbus. He is open to sticking around, sure. He seems to be very forthcoming about how he's fine with how things are. He's fine with his relationship with Dean Evison, but it definitely seems like he would still welcome a trade out of Columbus, and considering how often he's been a healthy scratch, it does make sense. It does look like the best move to make might be a trade, and apparently Columbus isn't interested necessarily in a draft picks and futures package. Columbus is interested in a hockey trade, so, and I've always talking about how I'd like to see hockey trades, so fingers crossed that we'll see that. The Athletic, with a poll of general managers and high-ranking officials, 37 of them in total, asking them for their opinion on who the best front office is, and Florida won. Florida won by a lot, too. The Florida Panthers basically, not unanimously, but pretty close, seen as the best organization in the National Hockey League. That's how quickly things change. This poll was done 3 or 4 years ago. Florida's not top 5. Dallas is listed as second. Tampa is listed as third in terms of management and front office in the rankings. So there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below regarding any of the items on the board. Hit like and subscribe in the event you may not have done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support. It is greatly appreciated. I will talk to you again soon.